I was at a conference in Red Deer, and it was actually a women's fundraiser. It was called Pajamas and Pearls, and all the women were dressed up in their silk pajamas and heels and pearls, and their hair was done and looking real glam and gorgeous. And there was one man in the room, and when I noticed him walking towards me, I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, I'm with the sponsor," and he said, I saw what you were going to be doing on the website. I thought it looked really interesting, and I thought maybe if I come I could help you with the technology or something." I said, "Sure, well actually I do have a question for you." I said, "You know, we're going to be changing laptops really quickly between sessions. Could you tell me how to do that seamlessly?" He said, "Sure." He said, "What's your favorite color?" I said, "Red." He said, "Today, it's blue." So I laughed, and he pointed to the blue portal on the back of the laptop, and he said, "You know, most people can't remember what a portal is anyway." And I said, "I like the way you communicate." He said, "Well, I've learned to keep it simple. I just learned how to speak English." Really? So I looked at him, I said, "Well, how did you learn to speak English?" He said, "I learned to speak English while I finished my degree." My jaw dropped, and I said, "Really? How did you do that? How can you learn a new language while you finish a degree? That blows my mind." I said, did you just tell yourself you could do it?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he looked at me and he asked me a question. He said, "Do you believe you can fly?" I can't believe what I'm hearing. So he repeated the question. He said, "Do you believe you can fly?" And I puffed myself all up and I said, "Yes." And then I said, "Why did you ask me that question?" And I reached past him just as I was saying that, and I clicked on the first slide of my PowerPoint presentation. And there was a picture of a woman, a young girl running across the beach. And the caption underneath said, "I believe I can fly." It took my breath away in that moment. When I said, "Why did you ask me that question?" He said, "Because most people say no." And then he looked at me and he said, "Tammy, the issue is not the flying. The issue is the believing." And it hit me in that moment. It was like a piece of the puzzle just clicked in. Yeah, I get it. It isn't about the flying. It's about how much you believe in what you can create, whether you manifest it or not, whether it comes to life. And that's the hard part. The hard part is continuing to believe, especially right now. Especially right now. You know, the hard times test our character, and that's really what this is about.